Have a brand new tornado warning in northern Freeborn County that's moving into Steele County. That's also including just a little bit of southeastern Waseca County. This one near Freeborn is headed toward Ellendale. This one again is an observed tornado. And now that I just came on, we got a brand new warning southwest of Freeborn County. So I'm going to pop over to the computer again here really quick just to show you what's happening with these storms. So we've got multiple tornado warnings that have come out again. We have these in effect until 5 p.m. We have this cell that's a relatively small cell, but it's been producing a tornado. I think we've found our front as these are just spinning right along the front as these storms develop. They've been producing tornadoes. We have history of that happening near Alden. This one's near Foster in Faribault County. That's moving to the northeast. That will be approaching the Alden area. We also now have this tornado warning that's right over Heartland. Heartland, you've already had one tornado that's been spotted. We've got rotation within that storm currently, and it is heading up toward the Ellendale area. So the development that's happening right along that front is producing tornadoes at this time. It has not stopped. And I just want to make sure that all of you that are in this area right now are taking shelter. Now on another app here, I'm just pulling up a little bit of velocity to get the very latest view of what's going on within that storm, just see if I can get a better view and something I'll be able to show you. But we've got a funnel cloud. Now I'm not getting really good velocity data at all on this right now on these Freeborn County storms. So this is an observed tornado. That warning is out until 5 p.m. It's the Heartland area that's moving into southern Steele County. I'm just checking the very latest. We got some pictures from Faribault, the city of Faribault, or from Faribault County. All right, let's see if we can dig up a little bit more information on that, see what we can share. But it might be from that Faribault County storm. This one right here, that tornado warning is in effect until 5 p.m. and that's making its way toward the Alden area. If I could show velocity data, I would, but these storms are very small, and we're not getting descript velocity data from these storms to show you where this is occurring. These have been observed tornadoes. All right, let's take a look at that. We've got a photo from Faribault County. All right, that's prompted this tornado warning. That's looks like a funnel cloud that has formed. I'm not sure if it is a tornado, not able to see if there's anything on the ground. That looks a lot more like a tornado to me. Is that just is that the same one? We've got 4 of these. All right, let's take a look again. So that would be this storm. Let's switch back to radar really quick. Switch back to radar. That tornado that we're looking at right here is associated with this storm that's on the eastern side of Faribault County. So that's what's moving into the western side of Freeborn County. So just a heads up, right there, in Alden County, or not in Alden County, I'm sorry, moving toward Alden in Freeborn County. There's still a lot of balls in the air that we're juggling right now. And also in northern Freeborn County, we have that tornado warning that is in effect until 5 p.m. I'm going to take a wider view just to make sure we don't have any other. So we also, that's why I asked this question before, near Faribault now, we have another tornado warning that's up into Rice County, and that one is until 5 p.m. So just a heads up that in the Heartland area, you need to be taking shelter right now. Tornado possible on the ground that was observed earlier, may still be there. That storm is moving to the northeast toward the Ellendale area, and I'll put a little track on that just to see what time we can expect that into the Ellendale area. All right, so from the most potent part of the storm moving to the northeast, that's going to be in Ellendale at around 4:52. At around 4:52 if it maintains its current track. There's been a lot of development that's popping up, almost pulsing, and then falling apart as it abandons the front that it's been developing along. So we're getting new development. This one has a history of producing a tornado. That one is observed. It's going to be moving into the Alden area, and I'll put a track on this one as well. Most dangerous portion of the storm as it moves off to the northeast. That's going to be in Alden at 4:46. 4:55 in Armstrong, and 4:58 in Manchester if this storm continues to hold together as it currently is. So we have 2 cells capable of producing tornadoes. Those are in Faribault County and in Freeborn County. The Faribault County storm is moving into western Freeborn County. Albert Lee, you are not in a tornado warning at this time. Clarks Grove, you are not. But Alden, Foster, Freeborn, you are. Heartland, you are as well. That's the most concerning storm there in northern Freeborn County. It is headed into the Ellendale area. We got an email in. I just need someone in the control room to be getting a little bit of info on that. Are we getting any damage reports? I just want to make sure that I've got everything in my ear that we might have. All right, so northern Freeborn County, we have that warning in effect until 5 p.m. and the eastern side of Faribault County moving into the western side of Freeborn County. So that's going to be to the northwest of the Conger area. Conger, you are not in that warning at this time. I'm going to be popping back on screen here in just a little bit, just a moment to take a closer look and talk more about these. So we have 2 tornado warnings right now in Freeborn County and the eastern side of Faribault County. Hail, not the major concern. There may be some damaging winds. A lot of stuff can happen within these storms. You could have outflow, especially at the rear flank. What I mean is on the western side, so where there's that interaction between the updraft and the downdraft. Not only can you have a tornado, but you can have the winds that are moving downward very quickly on the backside of that storm, and those could be picking up to around 65 to 70 miles per hour. Same goes with that storm that's in the Heartland area right now, moving to the northeast. That's moving into southern Steele County and approaching Ellendale at about 4:46, if I recall correctly from that time track right there. Eastern side of Faribault County moving to the western side of Freeborn County. There's that bigger picture again, this storm over Fillmore County, and that is lined out a little bit. We did have what was looking to be supercellular before, and that's a little bit more linear for us right now, but there is a tornado watch that's in effect until 10 p.m., so we still have about 5.5 more hours on that, and we have this Freeborn County, 2 storms that are in Freeborn County, so I want to go, that's not the right map. I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to hop right in. All right. These tornado warnings that are in effect right now in Freeborn County. I apologize for that. Just trying to make sure we have everything balanced right now. The far northern side of Freeborn County under a tornado warning until 5 p.m. and also a tornado warning until 5 p.m. for eastern Faribault County and western Freeborn County. Moving into Alden in fairly short order. We have had confirmed tornadoes with these storms as they continue to develop right along a front. They've been developing fairly quickly here for us. And we also have that storm on the back side of it. I'm still a little bit concerned about this. There is not a tornado warning on it at this time, but there could be some damaging wind potential as the storm is now. You're getting all the thunder and lightning in the Preston area right now. From Fountain, you're on the northern side of this at this time. It's passing by just down to your southeast, but you're certainly going to be on the rain, some wind potential right there on the back side of that storm, and the southern portions of Fillmore County. Back now to the 2 tornado warnings that we have. These are for Freeborn and Faribault County, also southern Steele County. That storm has a confirmed tornado, and that storm has a confirmed tornado. So we're going to break down both of them here for you as we continue with these tornado warnings. And these have been observed. We are continuing with the warnings because these storms have a history of producing tornadoes and will likely continue to do so. So that northern storm, currently the more dangerous portion of the storm, is located in the Heartland area, and there is the rotation that we're looking at. I want to show you this right there. You see the red and you see the green. That's showing the rotation within that storm in the Heartland area right now. I would not be shocked if there is a funnel at least or a rotating updraft that's visible with that storm in Heartland. Let's see, a new funnel cloud near, all right. Just FYI, team in the chat that we have going, we are getting a little bit more information. So if you could please keep me updated. I don't have time to take a break to read all that. If you could please just let me know what's going on. Everyone needs to be on Teams just to make sure they know what's going on with that. Eastern Faribault County, we have that warning that is in effect until 5 p.m. And the most dangerous portion of that storm, I don't expect to get much in the way of velocity data out of that. We're in the purple haze. See the purples in there? We are so far from radar sites that we're not able to get, not just us here at ABC6, anyone, just because of where those radars are located. There is no reliable velocity data on these storms, so thank goodness there were spotters in the field. We rely on them, storm spotters all around the area who are able to observe what's going on and to report back and give us that information. All right, so we still have, all right, I'm looking at photos here. There was one. All right, let's take a look at that. We have one that was near Clark's Grove. I just want to make sure that, all right, a little bit of an angular shot there. That's what we saw earlier in Clark's Grove. Okay, so just a heads up, everyone. These do have a history of producing tornadoes. The latest warning is just for western Freeborn County, and that polygon has been updated. The more dangerous portion of the storm is moving toward Alden. Everyone in Alden needs to continue to take shelter as the storm continues to move your way. Also the Carlston areas, you see that right now on your screen. Carlston to Alden, we have a new polygon for that storm in the western side of Freeborn County. That does not include Albert Lee. We also have this storm that has a history of producing a tornado. I don't know if we have any updated information on that, but right now, this area right here, and I'm going to draw this out for you, currently between Heartland, right up to around where you see 325th Street right there. That is the most dangerous portion of this storm as it continues to move toward the Ellendale area. That also has a history of producing tornadoes. We've had numerous reports from that so far this afternoon as these storms continue. Taking a larger view here, notice as I mentioned, I just don't want to be unnecessarily alarming people outside of this tornado warning. So in Albert Lee, we do not have that tornado warning at this time. That storm that's over in the Alden area is passing by to your north. We also have intense thunderstorms that have popped up all across the area that do not have warnings on them at this time, which is fantastic. A lot of this has happened very quickly. It's in northern Freeborn County where the majority of this activity has been occurring. So between Heartland and Ellendale, that is the most dangerous portion of the storm right now. And that continues to move off to the northeast. The speed on that has not been extraordinary. The speed on that has only been around 30 miles per hour. Let's see, the latest reports that I'm seeing from the National Weather Service, there was a report at the intersection of 310th Street and 685th Avenue. That's outside of Heartland. So we've had numerous reports outside of Heartland. We also have, let's see, the tornado warnings that are in effect. I don't have many other reports of seeing the tornadoes since about 4:38. We had one 2 miles west of Freeborn in Freeborn County. The tornado, they said, was gaining strength right there. So this storm right here, as it continues to move from the Heartland area up to the northeast, that is where this is the most dangerous portion that I've just outlined for you right there. I wouldn't expect to see that rotation in the Ellendale area right now. That's going to be in the Heartland area, and it continues to move off to the northeast. And on the western side of Freeborn County, from Alden over to the Freeborn-Faribault County line. That is where that is especially concerning. All right, zooming in a little bit more. I would say right now, right on the county line would be the most dangerous portion of the storm. Now, the core of that is a little bit farther to the east along I-90. There might even be a little bit of hail in that as well. But we're looking at the communities of Freeborn and Alden and Carlston. And we do have reports earlier from the community of Freeborn of a tornado that was spotted. And the report on that was at 4:30 p.m. That was at 4:30 p.m. So we've got those two tornado warnings now in effect for Freeborn County, and those are until 5 p.m. Also the southern side of Steele County. So in the Ellendale area, you need to be taking shelter at this time as well. That storm is moving your direction. If you can, let's see if he's available, all right? Thank you. So southern Steele County, northern Freeborn County, and the western side of Freeborn County, we have those two tornado warnings at this time. And those are both confirmed tornadoes with both of those cells. Going back to the watch that we have in place. So a little bit of good news, what I want to say about that, and just keep in mind, everybody in the western side of Freeborn County and the northern side of Freeborn County, you need to be taking shelter at this time from those tornado warnings that are in effect until 5 p.m. Numerous thunderstorms all across the area. A tornado watch that's in effect until 10 p.m. So I just get a little sweaty, have to keep adjusting here. Strong storms in Fillmore County, severe storms producing tornadoes in Freeborn County. Those are the two tornado warnings that we have in effect right now. That's from Heartland up to Ellendale and in the area of Freeborn and Alden at this time. So that tornado warning is in effect until 5 p.m. We've got the two of those. These are showing more linear characteristics a little bit farther down to the southeast. Austin, you're not under a warning of any type right now, but you're likely hearing the thunder from this thunderstorm that's currently located south of Austin, south of I-90 at least, all the way to the Minnesota-Iowa border. If anything rotates with that storm, we are going to let you know as soon as possible. We continue with these two tornado warnings in Freeborn County and southern Steele County and the western side of Freeborn County. So those tornado warnings remain in effect until 5 p.m. You're going to want to make sure that you're taking shelter shelter. And in Albert Lee, if anything is coming your direction, we're going to let you know. Right at this very moment, that storm that's on the western side of Freeborn County is the closest to you. That's affecting, of course, Alden and Freeborn. That looks to be passing just off to your northeast, but if you're living just a little bit west of Albert Lee, you do want to watch this one very closely as it continues to move off to the northeast. There are other tornado warnings in effect right now into Rice County, and all of these storms continue to produce heavy rain, including the storms that do have the tornado warnings on them right now in Freeborn County. So we're going to stay with these as long as we have these tornado warnings that are in effect. So at this time, those are the 2 tornado warnings that we have. Robin, have you got any information that you're able to share with us right now?
We've got some video or some photos that have just come in. Apparently there is another sighting of a tornado on the west side of Heartland. You're taking a look at it right there. This was just reported at about 4:37 this afternoon, just a few minutes ago. So new photos from this tornado on the west side of Heartland. So there's some more imaging that you might be seeing here. You can see it, it's actually touching the ground, stirring up dust and debris. Anybody in this general vicinity, you should be taking shelter immediately. Maybe calling on your friends or your family, maybe elderly people in your family who don't have access to us or to the internet. Be sure to get in touch with them and tell them to be sure to take cover right now. These storms, as Randy said, are popping up all over, fast and furious, and some of them just dissipating as quickly as they come up. So it's a very volatile situation right now. Probably best to stay inside. Maybe cancel any evening plans at this juncture. Just take a look at some of these images, and you can see why it's really important. Even Randy's screen, as he brings it up, you see all of those red spots and patches. That is extremely active weather cells. So again, we are under a tornado watch. Many areas, warnings just popping up left and right. This one, as we said before, you can see is, let's see, the one right here at Heartland. So that's the one we're looking at here. And apparently we're getting some more video coming in on this particular tornado. So Randy, I'm sorry? Yeah, so we're getting some more video on that. We don't have that quite yet, but we will certainly bring it to you as we get these images in. Speaking of which, what's happening right now where you are? Are you in any of these lines, any of the pathway of any of these storms? If it's safe, please take pictures or video and send it to us here at news@kaaltv.com. We want to make sure we have everyone informed with video, with images, and just to let you know the very latest. You are in the field, you know what's happening, and you are the first call person for us in order to be able to get this information out. I do believe we have some more video right now, so we can bring that up. You can see that video, from what I understand, is also southwest of Heartland. It's moving. We're not sure about the speed that it's moving right now, but looks like a decent sized tornado. Again, Randy said a lot of these systems aren't gaining a lot of velocity, which is certainly good news when it comes to tornadic activity. But Randy is standing at the wall right now. And Randy, do you have an update for us on this?
Yeah, I'd say, could you repeat, or somebody in the back in the booth, let me know where this one is in particular. That's an impressive looking tornado. Okay, that one was the southwest of Heartland. So I want to jump to this particular storm. Looking at that tornado, man, it is amazing what such a small thunderstorm has been able to produce. It's what's so remarkable about what we're seeing out there today. Bump back to the radar picture. I'm back here. This is the storm that was producing that tornado that you just saw. Now, this storm has gained a little bit of strength. It is on the far southwestern side of the storm, which is now still near the Heartland area, but the storm is closer to Ellendale now. It continues to move off to the northeast, and just right here, you see there's the junction of Waseca County and Steele County into Freeborn County. Ellendale heads up while you've got the core of the storm right now over you. You don't have the tornadic portion of the storm. That's going to be on the far southwestern portion of it. I haven't really been around here for 25 years now, haven't seen anything quite like this with the size of tornadoes that we've seen, with the size lacking in some of the cells. these storms have not been huge, but they have really been rotating, and they continue to do so, especially in the lower levels. This tornado that we have, not sure if it's still on the ground right now, if we still have a tornado or if we just have a funnel, or if there's anything happening with that at this very moment. But it is capable of producing a tornado, and that warning is in effect for about the next 10 minutes. This warning has been canceled. That has been canceled early on the western side of Freeborn County. So right now, Manchester, Armstrong, Alden, it was earlier in the community of Freeborn. That storm is approaching the Albert Lea area. That tornado warning has been canceled early. It is primarily just that storm now on the northern side of Freeborn County and southern Steele County that is a little bit stronger. These other storms now in Fillmore County, stretching over to Mitchell and Howard counties, back into Worth County and northern Cerro Gordo County, they're potent enough. They've really sprung up. But the bigger issue to me with these, while I say that, I'm not ignoring you right now. Northern Freeborn County, you still have that tornado warning that's in effect, especially in Ellendale, northeast of Heartland. You need to be taking shelter. Every other one of these storms are extremely efficient rain producers. So these are going to be contributing to the major headache of all of this, which is going to be the heavy rain that continues to fall. Now, some good news with that is that while we do have this line right there from north of Mason City all the way into the Preston area, that has been producing heavy rain in a pretty similar line. We're going to keep a very close eye on that for the next 24 hours just because of what's happening now, because more than likely we're getting rainfall amounts of around 1 to 2 inches, and eventually maybe a little bit more with what's happening there. And also into the Austin area, just south of Austin right now, very heavy rain. A flood watch is in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now that flood watch encompasses all the possibilities of flooding, not just flash flooding. We could have some fields that are covered in water, you could have some washed out roads, but just a heads up, as we continue to get these thunderstorms, the possibility of flash flooding occurring is going to continue to increase here for us. We have tornado warnings in effect right now. That's Rice County, but most importantly in northern Freeborn County and southern Steele County. In the Ellendale area, you are under the gun from that. So now the most dangerous portion of the storm is just starting to clear, just starting to get out of Freeborn County. In this area, they've just updated the polygon now. This is the most dangerous portion of the storm. And they drew the polygon, drawing that out. As you see, that portion right there is where there's the possibility of a tornado. Right now, that is currently on the line of Steele County and Freeborn County. This is moving to the east-northeast. Ellendale, I'm still very concerned about this storm for you as it continues to move your direction. At this moment, uncertain if we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. The tornado warning for Steele County and Freeborn County is in effect until 5 p.m. They've just redrawn the space for it right there. That storm that was just a little bit farther down to the southwest, they have canceled that tornado warning early, taking a little bit of a wider view here. Numerous thunderstorms across the area. That's the only one that we have a tornado warning on right now, and why we are staying with coverage on this, why we're obligated to make sure that we're letting everybody know in Steele County and Freeborn County that we have this tornado warning that is in effect. We also continue to see very heavy rain falling from Cerro Gordo and Worth County up into Mitchell County, Howard County, all the way into Fillmore County. Again, this area of the driftless, it's always a bit more sensitive to the heavy rains that'll come down as we have narrower, higher gradient rivers, and the highly sensitive areas from Austin to around Albert Lea, where we have the lower gradient and wider river basins. So we're going to be watching this very closely. Thank goodness we don't have a whole lot of rain occurring right now north of Austin, where the Cedar starts close to the Hayfield area. That heavy rain, though, in southern Dodge County could be contributing to some higher waters that could occur on the Cedar in the Austin area eventually. So right now, and I'm going to go back just a little bit, go back to that tornado warning that is in effect until 5 p.m. for southern Steele County and northern Freeborn County. That is in effect for the next 5 minutes, and then I'm sure we'll be jumping right into the newscast at 5 p.m. We have that storm that is continuing to make its way into Ellendale. Ellendale now, you're currently under a more dangerous portion of the storm. We could now be seeing some rotation in that section of it. I'm going to pop back here just to see if we're able to get any decent velocity data out of this particular portion of the storm. So let's see, we also, yeah, we've got a report of a funnel cloud in, let's see, I don't have a new warning, but that's in far southwest Dodge County. Okay, that just came in on the chat. I'll get to that in just a moment. Yeah, there is some rotation just to the south of Ellendale. It's not looking remarkably strong at this moment, but this right here is of a bit of concern to me, this area just south of Ellendale, and the storm continues to move to the northeast. A broader view of that storm. You're also getting thunderstorms through the rest of Freeborn County. At this time, we're not getting the rotation along with it. But a dangerous portion, a dangerous storm right now in southern Steele County. It looks like it has pretty much just cleared Freeborn County. Geneva, it is to your north. However, with that said, there could still be some damaging wind gusts anywhere around that polygon or just around it as well. I just had a heads up from the National Weather Service. Let's see here. Dodge County Emergency Manager's spotter reports a funnel cloud in far southwest Dodge County, probably looking at the cell off to the west. That is what they've noted in that report too. So even though the spotter is in there, they could very well be seeing a funnel cloud with that storm that is over here into Steele County. Now it could also be this cell right there. That is a very weak cell to the west of Hayfield. But we are seeing the interaction of these storms with a front, and that's causing a lot of low-level rotation. So currently what's happening is a dangerous situation in this one particular spot, in that location of southern Steele County. They are now going to extend the tornado warning. The tornado warning is going to be extended. Let's see here, it is now, they've just redrawn. I want to make sure that I'm able to get the very latest. The system is coughing on that a little bit. All right, that is until 5:30. So Blooming Prairie, that does include you. That storm is heading your direction. That storm has been, it's basically going to be riding Highway 30 through southern Steele County. So that new warning replaces the old one, and hopefully we see that washed away here fairly quick. But that new tornado warning continues until 5:30 for southern Steele County, heading toward Blooming Prairie. Now, what I was starting to say just a moment ago, now southern Steele County, everyone there needs to be keeping a very close eye on what's going on. We are getting, let's see, we've got a bunch of information that's starting to come in to everybody. We have had a very active afternoon. Everything ramped up very quickly. System is freezing on me right now. There we go. All right. I'm going to hop back on the screen here, and I think we're just about... Okay, we've got a picture of a funnel cloud in New Richland. Let's take a look at that. Funnel cloud in New Richland. Yeah, we have a picture of a funnel cloud in New Richland sent to us at 4:54. That right there is a tornado. So that is touching the right. Can you put me in front of the image, please? Okay, they're working on it. I want to show you what we're looking at right there. That's definitely a tornado. We've got contact with the ground. So it is repetitive to say tornado on the ground, but I often say that just to drive home the fact that we have something occurring where a tornado is dangerous, just to remind everybody. So funnel cloud would mean it's not on the ground yet, but there you go, right there. There's the tree line. So it's not possible to say for sure, but looking at the angle of the funnel right there, I would say with certainty and just for safety's sake that is a tornado that we're looking at right there. And that was in New Richland. We got that photo at 4:54. I want to go back to the radar picture too. Just a reminder, until 5:30 we have that tornado warning for southern Steele County. That's replacing the one. Now that storm is pretty much entirely in Steele County. This old polygon will be, that'll disappear in about a minute as that initial polygon will expire, and that warning is not for any of Freeborn County. That'll be just for southern Steele County. This is the lead right now. This is the drama. We've had tornadoes. We have the possibility of one right now in Steele County. The biggest concern, and I want to remind everybody, it's not as fun, it's not as dramatic as a tornado. this is going to raise flooding concerns. All of the thunderstorms that we have occurring across the area right now are very efficient rain producers. They are going to be in a very small area producing more than an inch, maybe more than 2 inches of rainfall. Even though there are no warnings on these storms right now from parts of far southeast Minnesota, all the way to the Mississippi River, all the way to the Minnesota-Iowa line, stretching down through Cerro Gordo County, and now onto the western side of Hancock and Winnebago counties. These storms in Freeborn County right now, the storms in Mower County, the storms in Mitchell County and in Howard County, the storms that will eventually be into Floyd County. These are producing a lot of rainfall, and we have a flood watch that is in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that is something we are going to have to keep a very close eye on. And now, as I've been talking about that, just another reminder that we have that tornado warning in effect now until 5:30 for southern Steele County, and that is going to be moving toward Dodge County if that storm holds together. It has a history of producing tornadoes. It has since Heartland, and it'll continue to move off to the east. Now, just want to put the bug in the ear of everyone that's in production or at the desk right now. I am going to need about a 1-minute break to regroup, to get my graphics ready. We are in the 5 o'clock news right now, but if there's anything that we can throw to for just a little while to give me a short rest. But right now, I just want to remind everybody that we have a tornado watch until 10 p.m., flash flood watch until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and this tornado warning in southern Steele County until 5:30. And that storm is headed toward the Dodge County area. Maisie's going to take over for just a moment, and I'll be back in just a little while.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your coverage tonight, Randy. And right now you are taking a look at a funnel cloud that has touched down in Heartland. We just got this into our newsroom just a few minutes ago. And like Randy said, Heartland is a very active area at this moment in time. But we do need to be prepared that this storm and all of these different storm systems are in fact moving east at this point. But again, this is video that was just sent into our newsroom in Heartland at the moment, and we do encourage everyone to send us videos if you are in a safe place and keep letting us know as to what you are seeing, if there's anything on the ground there, so we can keep up to date on our whole coverage area. Again, this is Heartland. I don't know if we have any more pictures or videos that we can pull up and show. Let's go back to the one that we got just a few minutes ago in Heartland. It seems like that is where a lot of the action is taking place at this moment in time. But we know that Randy is actively tracking all of this for us, and the best way to get any information is, of course, on air with us, but our app is also very active at this moment in time. You can download that on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, the ABC6 mobile app. We're also online right now on our website at KAALTV.com. So no matter where you are or how you consume your news, just make sure that you are consuming our weather coverage tonight to make sure that everyone stays safe. All right, do we have any more pictures? We do have another picture coming in from Heartland at this time. Randy can give a little more details about exactly what we're looking at, but obviously, as you can see, Heartland is a very active area at this moment in time. Lots of little funnels coming down off of that wall cloud. So if you are in the Heartland area, do absolutely make sure that you are in a safe place right now. Do not, put yourself in a dangerous situation to get us any pictures or videos, but we do certainly appreciate those that can to keep us well informed. I'm going to send it back to Randy. Randy, are you ready to go?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yep, absolutely. It's just kind of wild to me how bonkers some of the rotation has been in the lower levels of the atmosphere. It is right along a front. It has been the warm season. It's hot and muggy season. It is. We're not getting a lot of hail production from these storms, but they have been very efficient at providing or producing funnels and tornadoes that we have seen across the area. This is the tornado warning that we have in effect right now. That's in Steele County. Steele County is the only location where we do have a tornado warning at this time. The most dangerous portion of the storm is right on top of Highway 30, just to the east of I-35. That's moving off to the east. That has been holding, and I'm fairly certain that is right along the front. So as winds are converging right there, that is providing a lot of the low-level rotation where these storms are occurring. That's moving off to the east. That warning is in effect until 5:30. That's just a heads up for those of you right along Highway 30, Blooming Prairie. That storm, as it stands right now, is headed your direction. Now, more than likely, it's going to be changing and evolving and shifting a little bit as it does so, and thank goodness we just got another scan of the radar. We are able to see that it is getting a little bit closer to you. It is very difficult to parse out with a storm that is actually this small, yet at the same time producing a funnel or a tornado, where that is actually occurring, but more than likely it is going to be just a couple of miles to the east of I-35 and a few miles to the west of Blooming Prairie. Anywhere right around in here. That tornado warning is in effect until 5:30. So you've got a thunderstorm coming through Albert Lea right now. Just a heads up again that we do not have a warning on that. There is going to be heavy rain. There is going to be lightning. That is also going to be the case for you in the Shell Rock area in southern Freeborn County. We have thunderstorms that are rolling through Fillmore County. So we've got a few batches right here. We've got this line from Winona to Fillmore all the way into Mitchell County, back into Worth County, and then Steele County, where that warning is in effect until 5:30. Thunderstorms through Freeborn County, thunderstorms all around Mower County. Thank goodness, nothing happening for us in Austin at this very moment. And the storms continuing to move off to the east and northeast. We have that one lonely tornado warning in Steele County. And just as a reminder, that flood watch that's in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now I'm going to go back and have we got a little bit more information? Yeah, let's go back to Maisie.
Now, it's not in the area that Randy is talking about, but just here in Rochester, we did just get into our newsroom some more information about some flooding concerns that are happening. Broadway Avenue is going to temporarily close here in Rochester starting at 7 o'clock because of that flooding risk near those construction zones. So if you are looking at a map, that is between 14th Street and Elton Hills Drive. There's going to be detour signs that are already going to be out there, but do be prepared for that if you are going into Rochester tonight. And that is not going to reopen until 5 a.m. And Randy, I know that you've mentioned a lot of other flood zones and that we are in a flood watch overall until 7 o'clock tomorrow, but something to be aware of as that's coming right now. And I believe, are you pulling up a picture?
Yeah, right now I was going to pull up the tower cam views that we have in Austin. We've got that cell that's off to the north. I'm just turning the camera around a little bit on that as well. So we're not getting much of a view now. Right now in Austin, and you have had rain in Austin. You can see the rain-covered streets there. But just trying to get a little bit of a perspective around the city of Austin. And I'm going to go to the Albert Lea camera in just a little bit as well. While I'm saying this, just a reminder, we have that tornado warning that's in effect for southern Steele County until 5:30. We're watching things like this as we look down to the south, and I'm going to pop in front of this in just a little bit. And before I do, I'm actually going to pop right back over to the radar picture just to get a little bit better of a view to confirm what I'm looking at here. So that's going to take me a little bit just to shift gears. But I will be with you in just a moment. We're taking a little while for that to load up. And as soon as that loads up, I'm snapping my fingers at the computer just so it moves a little bit faster. But anyway, the storm that I've just pulled up is now southeast of Austin. It's in between Adams and Austin. So I'm going to go back to the tower cam view and show you that. All right, so we're looking at these thunderstorms that have popped up that have been, fairly small. And now we're from the perspective of Pickett Place, looking over downtown Austin. Notice the rain-free base on that storm right there. This is the updraft of the storm. This is the portion of the storm where these tornadoes have been occurring with that storm that's now over Steele County, with the numerous storms that produced funnels or tornadoes over Freeborn County, the Heartland area, the Alden area already today, the Freeborn area. But we're watching areas that low base right there. And we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Nice change of pace, not getting a new tornado warning. This is the view in Albert Lea for us right now. That thunderstorm that has been in the Albert Lea area. We're going to take a look at the radar right now. As you can see, 79 degrees for us in Albert Lea. But we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, and that severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for this portion of a linear storm right there that is making its way out of Waseca County into Steele County. And it does look like, I think that storm has weakened enough. I want to confirm this here really quick, but we may have seen the expiration of that tornado warning. So now that we don't have any tornado warnings, we're going to give this a few more minutes, but I also want to give the crew just a heads up that we can get out of nonstop weather coverage per se, or we're going to go to you, Maisie, for a little while. Maisie's got some information.
We are able to actually, I know, Randy, you were talking about the Albert Lee area, and we do have a 511 cam that we can pull up and try to look a little bit more at those skies if we can pull that up back in the production room. Obviously a little bit hard to see with all of that rain covering the camera, but I know, Randy, you were just mentioning that portion while you get some things pulled up on your end.
Yes, and I also, I'm going to go back just a couple of graphics. First things first, let's take a look at this. Oh my goodness, yeah, that heavy rain right on top of I-35 and I-90. And I've also got a view, I moved the camera around on our Albert Lee cam, tower cam here, and we're going to go back to that. I'm also going to pull up a different graphic here. Actually, I'll get the view here right now from in our weather system. And my goodness, it looks like we're getting a lot of photos in through email. I'm just able to sit back here and get a little bit more info through that. All right, so, okay, this is our perspective. Let's go to the weather graphics here. I moved the camera. So when I was down to the south, I'm going to give you just a little bit of a view. Right now, just a lot of heavy rain coming down in the Albert Lee area. As I mentioned, these are extremely efficient rainfall producers for us. And we are getting that heavy rain right now. In Albert Lee, it depends on location. You can see just the sheets of rain over Fountain Lake right now. And going to the Austin area, we're also looking down to the south. We don't have that. All right. I'm going to pop right to that new tornado warning. We have an observed tornado. Let's see. Just, okay, now we're at the Dodge County. So that storm that they let the tornado warning expire in Steele County, we now have a fresh tornado warning for Dodge County. And let's see what I'm going to pull up that tornado warning so I can get the very latest information. Okay, issued at 5:10, tornado warning for northwestern Olmsted County and central Dodge County. That's until 5:45. And confirmed tornado located near Dodge Center, moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. Confirmed tornado near Dodge Center, moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. So this is a lot to unpack here, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to be back over to the screen here in just a moment and take a look at this one, because we have another very broad warning, and that's not a bad thing. So we've got 3 cells within this tornado warning, which by itself is very interesting from a meteorological standpoint. We don't have one really big supercell making its way through. This storm, if we're talking about the one that had the tornado spotted near Dodge Center, this is not a very big storm right there, but it is producing a tornado. Now, this is the storm right there that has a history of producing a tornado in the Steele County area. And we have another one between Casson and Hayfield. That's also moving to the east. Does not have a history of producing a tornado, but is in an area where it is conducive for such a thing to happen. This tornado warning is in effect until 5:45. That does include the western side of Olmsted County. So this is the very latest tornado warning, which means we're going to be continuing our coverage through this in its entirety. Let's get that Highway 14 tower cam right now in the Dodge Center area. Okay, we're not, unfortunately, MnDOT hasn't moved that up a whole lot, but that is the tornado warning, tornado warned area. That is Highway 14 near the Highway 56 exit right there. And now we're going to switch cams, take another view there. Boy, wouldn't that be ideal if we were able to see something there. In that perspective, did they just switch it, or could we go back to that last one? I thought I might have seen something there for a second. Because this is looking to the east, because McNeilus is on the north side of Highway 14. So from that intersection, we are looking off to the east. You can see a little bit of a ragged base right there. That's something that I was wanting to get hopefully that we'd be able to see something. I'm not certain exactly where. I'm not saying that the spotters haven't seen one. I'm just saying that I'm not seeing it from that perspective. So it's just located in a different location. Yeah, let's go take a look at the radar picture again. Things are really, things have been hopping. I was going to say happening. Things are hopping, and they have been for an hour and a half now. Dodge County, we have a tornado warning. That is the one tornado warning that we have in the viewing area at this time. These storms are interacting with a front, so they have quite a bit of low-level rotation with them. This is the cell right there that was producing a tornado earlier near Heartland, then up into the Ellendale area, moving right along Highway 30. In the Blooming Prairie area, you are not in the clear per se, but the more dangerous portion of the storm is just to your north. In Blooming Prairie, it would be safest to be taking shelter right now. I'm going to take a little bit of a wider view. This storm, I'm hoping, starts to go a little bit more linear from the Blooming Prairie area down to Albert Lea. But I'm going to adjust my view here so that we can focus on what's going on in Dodge County, where we do have that tornado warning at this time.
All right, we're going to take a
Let's go to Maisie for a sec, please.
Let's take a live video at Highway 14 at that exit right now. So Randy, we do have that again that you can take a look at. And we also, I know that Randy's going to pull up what is actively happening at this moment in time, but we do already have some storm damage photos from Heartland. It looks like a barn is down. We also do have a video of what someone is calling a tornado west of Heartland. If we can pull that up and take a little look while Randy is getting reset on his end over there. So like Randy said, again, obviously, if you are in that Blooming Prairie area, you're not necessarily in the clear, but it is good to know that a lot of that has, the worst parts of it at least, have moved past. But if you are in the Dodge Center area right now, you definitely should be taking shelter. And the more proactive you can be, the better. We're going to take a look at that video right now. So I believe that this is the video of that tornado west of Heartland. You can see that tail. Looks like it's touching the ground. So something definitely to be aware of there. I'm not sure what time this was sent in to us, if anybody knows, but definitely within the last, we received it at 5:08, so just about like 10 minutes ago or so. Let's also take a look at that storm damage photo from Heartland too. Obviously a lot of activity in Heartland at this moment in time. Again, someone has said that a barn is down. Yeah, wow, take a look. I mean, a very quick moving but very powerful cluster of storm cells like Randy was talking about. And I mean, it looks like that barn is...
Where's the location on that?
This is Heartland.
That's in Heartland, okay. Yikes. I'm sorry, it's a bummer to see this. You know, we knew with the warnings that we had one that was down by Heartland, another one that was by Alden, and making its way into the Ellendale area. And now, my goodness, that's tough to see the property damage out there. I hope everyone is okay. I don't know if we got any other information about the photo that came through at this time. All right, the tornado warning that we're focusing on right now, let's jump to that. Back in front of the radar screen here for you. We've got kind of a mess with these storms. We got 3 different cells, and there's a tornado warning in the area that has all 3 of these cells. This is the more concerning one. Blooming Prairie, there you are, just off to the northeast. I would just heads up in Hayfield and eventually into the Oslo area from that particular storm. Also Casson. So Dodge Center, right about here, right now, while there was a funnel spotted there or a tornado spotted there, we've got this cell that's just to the northwest of Casson moving into the Manorville area. You should be taking shelter there. That's a smaller cell. There could be a little bit of rotation with that, and there could be a little bit of rotation with this storm, the possibility. So we've got 3 storms that could be producing a funnel cloud or a tornado in this area. So a lot of Dodge Center, you need to be taking shelter. Now, as this one gains a little bit of steam, south of Casson, that's going to be northwest of Rockdale. Rockdale, you're right there. High Forest over here. Casson to Byron. Byron, I guess, you know, some good news is the majority of the storm right now is just down to your southwest. And it's very difficult to pin down exactly where some of this might be happening. But a tornado warning with these multiple cells in a small area. So the southwestern side of Dodge County should be taking shelter in the Hayfield area, or if you're just off to the west of Hayfield. Also with the storm that's in the Casson to Manorville area, just off to the west of you, that storm looks like it's been weakening a little bit, but we have seen tornadoes being produced by smaller cells as we're getting a lot of interactions with the winds at a lower level. Northwest of Rockdale, southeast of Casson. The one concern I have with that storm, and there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just come in. The concern I have with this storm is it's moving into more populated portions of Olmsted County, but difficult to pin down if right now that is an especially problematic line. So a lot of this is starting to become a little bit more linear, but we also have that overriding concern of the very heavy rain that's coming down. That latest severe thunderstorm warning is on the eastern side of Fillmore County, right there. That could be producing some damaging wind. A lot of these are not going to be producing hail just because the atmosphere is pretty warm, a couple miles up into the atmosphere. And the tornado warnings right now in a very broad area of Dodge County. So heads up in central Dodge County, Casson, Vanderbilt, Hayfield, Blooming Prairie. You need to be taking shelter from this storm. That tornado warning is in effect until 5:45. And a lot of this activity that we're seeing, and is a real bummer with it, is that we are in a situation where there is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. There is a lot of it. It has been there. That's why we've been talking about flooding concerns for about the last 4 or 5 days, specifically about today and tomorrow. And all of these storms, on top of producing copious amounts of rain, are also rotating along a front today. That was a bit unexpected, but we do have it now, a tornado watch that is out until 10 p.m., and you need to be taking shelter in central Dodge County. We also have continuing heavy rain with that cell from Albert Lee up to the northwestern side of Mower County. Very heavy rain coming down on the southeastern side of Mower County and almost all of Fillmore County. And we are going to continue to see thunderstorms through the rest of this evening. We should take a break overnight tonight, at least a little bit of a break, and then we are going to have more storms, some potentially severe, again tomorrow. I'm going to take that off the screen over here, but I'm going to have to pop over to my computer right now and get that cleared. And feel free, by the way, you guys shout in my ear if we have any new developments that we're able to share. I want to take a look at the Austin camera again. I'm going to pull that up here in just a moment, and we'll take a look at what's going on there. Of course, the darker sky right now in Austin. And I'm going to turn the camera to just a little bit farther to the north. I'm also going to get Broadway pulled up here. So just give me a little bit of a moment to get Broadway pulled up. We're going to take a look at the storms that are now approaching the Rochester area. Also, as I'm just multitasking through this, I'm going to pull up the velocity on these Dodge County storms, just to show you kind of what sort of a read we're getting on those in particular. And see if we have, all right, so the tornado that was confirmed, and we're going back 14 minutes, okay, 15 minutes now. The Dodge County spotters, they reported a touchdown in there was a confirmed tornado on County Road 34 and 160th Avenue, just west of Dodge Center. That was north of Highway 14, north of Old Highway 14. That has lifted. There may be additional development. Okay, could you repeat that, Rochelle, please? Okay. Let's take a, just really quickly though, before we go to that. I guess I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is these storms are breaking up a little bit on the backside, the western side, but now this is the bad news. Getting some signs right there south of Casson. There's still some rotation showing up in that portion of the storm that I've got the arrow on right there. Okay, so that portion of the storm that is now on the far eastern side of Dodge County. Uncertain how this is going to hold together as it approaches the Rochester area. But I'm going to pull up our camera here in just a moment. I want to make sure I get all the sky cams that we've got available and take a look at that. So as that's loading, just a reminder that we have that tornado warning in Dodge County until 5:45 for safety's sake. You just want to make sure you're in your basement, staying away from windows, and taking shelter from that. We are also keeping a close eye on the western side of Olmsted County. We're able to get a pretty darn good perspective on that storm from our location right here. And I'm going to follow that up with a radar view. It's just going to take me a little while to get that loaded here, but I'm going to go back to the radar picture to take a peek at what's going on, and then we can get a better breakdown of all the storms that are occurring across the area, where we've got this mixture of tornado threat right now and persistent heavy rain. We're starting to get, yeah, we can hear it on the roof here. We're getting heavy rain at our location too. I'm hopeful that we may get an update on this tornado warning soon as we look at the radar picture from this storm coming out of Dodge County. And while that funnel cloud or the tornado that was there earlier has lifted, I'm a little concerned about the whole line as it continues to move through Olmsted County, as that is the only remaining warning that we have across the area right now. So taking a look back at the Broadway photo, or Broadway tower cam here, just doing my best to keep everything straight. We're going to go to Maisie really quick, and then I'll have a radar update for you in just a moment. Maisie.
Yeah, Randy, while he gets that pulled up, let's take a quick look at west of Dodge Center now. Now, this is where a confirmed tornado was confirmed by somebody there on the ground. And as you can see, what a interesting situation, Randy. Now it is total blue skies, a rainbow out. I feel like we see that a lot with these severe weather cells when they move across the area. But, you know, as Randy has mentioned, all of these little supercells, they are actually moving east now as we speak, and so it's moving towards Olmsted County. So as it moves out of Dodge Center, which is where this camera is happening right now, a beautiful rainbow from one end to the other end. And we know that Randy was talking about Rochester now as he's getting all of that pulled up. And I just want to mention again that Broadway Avenue is being shut down here at 7 o'clock for flooding concerns. So that's in about an hour and a half now. And it's not going to reopen until 5 o'clock tomorrow. As Randy's mentioned, those flooding concerns, those flooding warnings, I believe, are going to stay in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Right now, taking a look at that Dodge Center Hayfield exit. You can still see that rainbow there as that storm moves out of that area. And just to keep everybody updated, we are having reporters with boots on the ground in all of these places as these supercells just cover our area here in southeast Minnesota. We have one reporter in Dodge County, one in Mower County, and one that is going to come to us from that Broadway Avenue. And as Randy has mentioned, and as we're looking at that tower cam, we know that that is where this storm is headed now. Randy?
Maisie, we have a new tornado warning. This one is just at the very edge of our viewing area. I'm not even sure if we're able to reach people on the western side of Houston County, but an observed tornado, and this storm has really intensified. So getting close to the Yucatan area on the western side of Houston County, this is potentially significant right there. That is at the far edge of Fillmore County. So this is south of Rushford. That's going to be into the Yucatan area here shortly. It has a hook on the radar picture. That one is especially potent and making its way into Houston County. We are getting heavy rain now in downtown Rochester. Showing you what's going on with this storm. As I saw that tornado warning come in, I was hoping we'd have an update on this particular area right now. That tornado warning for Dodge and Western Olmsted is still in effect. We're not really picking up much in the way of rotation on. We just have a new warning here. Believe we have a severe thunderstorm warning in Steele County. So that one also showing some interesting characteristics right there. We have not really seen this ramping up on the western side of Olmsted County. We may, and I'm hoping we get an update to that polygon here shortly, as the most dangerous portion of the storm is just about out of it, and things are looking a little bit more linear, which is good news for not seeing tornadoes. I will never cheer on a tornado. I don't ever want to see that happening around here, but I'm hoping we're going to get an update on that fairly soon. There could still be a little rotation with this portion of the storm in the Byron area, so that is the concern. That's north of Rockdale. That tornado warning continues until 5:45, but do notice that we don't have much happening at all on the western side of that polygon. It's just a really busy afternoon for our friends at the National Weather Service as well, especially with that tornado warning that we have now going into Houston County, just outside of our viewing area. We're getting that heavy rain in the Rochester area. At this time, I don't have major concerns as this activity has fallen apart, but it does have a history of showing some rotation. So we'll see what we get out of that in the next few minutes. I am hopeful that we'll get an update on that particular warning. It'll either be canceled or we may see an extension moving a little bit farther off to the east. In Austin right now, heavy rain just off to the northwest. And speaking of Austin, we have our own Chandler Jackson right now in the Austin area. Chandler, tell me what you're seeing out there right now.
Yeah, Randy, there hasn't really been a whole lot going on down here in Austin the last couple hours. I've been here since probably late morning, and really it's been fairly calm. The rain has sort of been infrequent, on and off periods of light drizzle, like what I'm actually seeing right now. It's kind of lightly raining on me, but there's also been moments where it's almost been clear skies. There's almost been no rain, so very infrequent. Now, at the same time, as I'm saying that, just behind me over my shoulder here, you can see all these, dark clouds that are moving in. I can see this sort of wall that's making its way slowly towards where I am, which I am on the north side of Rochester. Just for context for everybody, I'm north of I-90, so we're seeing all of that, seeing all of that move in all that way towards the east of where I am. But yeah, otherwise it's been a fairly calm day for me so far. Not a whole lot going on, just some light rain periodically throughout the day. I'll throw it back to you now, Randy.
All right, thank you very much, Chandler. I'm going to, let's divert a little bit. Some really good news. That tornado warning that was over Dodge County, that has expired. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Steele County with that line. I am a little concerned about this portion of the storm right here. That's looks like the developing bookend where we can get some rotations, some strong damaging winds that can form in that area. And it does look like we have a new tornado warning between Kenyon and Wanamingo, and that does include Zumbrota. So we have a tornado warning that's in effect until 5:45 in Goodhue County, headed toward Wanamingo. Right now, the most dangerous portion of that storm is between Kenyon and Wanamingo. And right now, this one's really wild. We're getting a debris signature now. This was near Choice. For those of you who go fishing, you know the South Fork of the Root River in the Choice area. Now the most dangerous portion of the storm is near Yucatan and Houston County. It's just a little bit outside of our viewing area, but this is going to be a large and dangerous tornado. All right, looking at the velocity picture right there, this thing is a monster. Yeah, this is now moved into kind of the realm of stuff that you would see, very similar to the supercells we saw in North Dakota last week, or even more typical in areas like Oklahoma or Texas. This is the velocity signature right there, showing very clearly a very large and strong rotation in the lower levels. And this is a little bit closer to the radar site in La Crosse. So in Houston County, this could very well right now be a significant tornado that we have basically right on top of Yucatan. This is going to be around the Sheldon area fairly soon. Sheldon just underneath the ring here, but this is a confirmed tornado. There's also a debris signature with that. We can see that there is one or has been one just moments ago. This thing right now is huge in Houston County. I don't know if we're getting our signal to anybody in Houston County right now, but if you know somebody in this area, make sure they're taking shelter right now. That's from Yucatan to Sheldon on the southwestern side of Houston County. This is the real deal. This thing is really big right now, okay? So that storm is absolutely nasty. Now we are back to looks like we have a severe thunderstorm warning in all of Dodge County from this storm that's coming out of Steele County. And we have areas of very heavy rain. Now, I don't know if anyone back in the production booth is able, let's see if we can do a little bit of investigative work to figure out what kind of reports we have out of Houston County. I know that's a little bit outside the area, but this thing, that is huge. It looks right now to be staying north of Caledonia, but look at that right there, hook echo with that storm. So that's going to be moving to the east, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to take just a little bit of a right turn. Okay, so that's what some of these really big supercells will do sometimes when they get that rotation going. I'm very happy to say that the rest of the area is not seeing anything to the level of what is now occurring in Houston County. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning in Dodge County. That is from this line of thunderstorms coming out of Steele County. Our number one concern with that is going to be strong, damaging winds, and that threat is going to continue. I'm going to pull up the timing on that here. We're going to get to that in just a moment, so I can get the very latest timing on that particular storm. Okay, that warning is until 5:45. We are looking at the possibility of winds up to 60 miles per hour. Winds may be faster than that. if we do get the development of a tornado, of course. So that is a major concern. We have a video. Oh, okay. This would have been from earlier. Is there a time frame? Let's go to Maisie for just a little bit. I'm going to take a break to line some things up. Maisie, back to you.
Yeah, let's take a look at that really quickly too. Now, this is video of that tornado happening in Heartland, that happened about half an hour ago. We just got it into our newsroom. Take a look at that. I mean, you can just see how big it is and that it definitely is touching the ground. And if you've been with us for a little bit now, we did see that one of these systems did actually decimate a barn there. It was really tragic to see. You can see it's really kicking some stuff up down in Heartland. Again, this is not happening right now. Randy's focusing on Houston County and what's going on around there, but this was taken about 5:20. Oh wow, you can see all of that debris kicking up into the air. As I just mentioned, we know that it has already destroyed structures. I was looking at the Freeborn County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, and they said that there's already been a couple reports of damage there in Freeborn County. Again, this was 15 minutes ago now. Thank you very much to whoever sent this, and you can just see how powerful that storm was, and we know that a lot of them in our area are, some of them seem to be dwindling in strength, but some of them have really geared up here in the last 10 minutes, as Randy mentioned about Houston, and we're still trying to get some more information about what exactly that is. We do know that that tornado warning has been extended until 6 o'clock tonight for East Central Fillmore County and in Houston County. According to the National Weather Service in La Crosse, there's actually a confirmed tornado there. Flying debris is dangerous. Everybody definitely needs to be taking shelter there at that time. That means that you need to stay away from windows. You need to be in as secure of a place as you can be. And that does, wow, this video is still showing so much damage. I'm not sure if this is the same video of the barn. This is actually of that barn that was decimated. So once this video is done, let's go back to that picture and show everybody just exactly the damage that that tornado did do. You could see it happening there in real time. And I'm just hearing now, as we've been talking about that, I mentioned earlier that, and as Randy has mentioned too, that we're starting to get more of this activity here in Rochester. We're expecting a lot of rain here in Rochester, and we do have our reporter, Brandon Antony, is live now for us at Broadway Avenue, where they have shut that road down because of those flooding concerns. So let's go to you now. Brandon, what are you seeing in Rochester?
Maisie, yeah, as you can behind me, there's Broadway Avenue, like we mentioned, and they're shutting it down due to flooding concerns. Right now, it's not really raining as hard, although when I pulled up here to set the camera up, that's when I started to get a little drenched myself. However, it looks like the rain is subsided a little bit here in Rochester, but obviously still due to flooding concerns, Broadway remains closed. So that's kind of a little bit about what I'm seeing now, Maisie.
All right, thank you, Brandon. And yeah, that is about to close here in a little over an hour from now, and that's going to remain so throughout the morning. And I know that Randy's actually tracking this on our Broadway camera tower system. Randy, would you rather talk about what's happening right now in Rochester or go back to that Heartland barn damage?
Oh my gosh, let's take an all-encompassing view. How about we just kind of re-rack here? So this was Heartland barn damage. This is from earlier, so this would have been closer to around 4 o'clock. Give or take a little bit of time there. Horrible to see that. I hope everybody is doing just fine. But again, we did have tornadoes touching down. Everything ramped up very quickly this afternoon, and we still have concerns out there. So I want to start with the Broadway Tower cam here as we look off to the west. This is a lot of the kind of activity that we really want to keep a close eye on, because even some of the smallest storms have been showing signs of rotation. This is a ragged base. We're going to watch that very closely right along there just to see if there are any signs of any funnel clouds developing. This is with a more linear system right now. So this is the big picture view, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter. We do have numerous warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in Dodge County that may be extended into Olmsted County. Damaging wind is the primary threat, but it could also produce a tornado. We have a tornado watch until 10 p.m. this evening. We have a flood watch until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. There is also a tornado warning in Goodhue County for a storm that is headed toward the Zumbrota area. And this storm right here is capable of producing some strong, damaging winds as it's starting to bow out a little bit. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning on this storm. Very difficult to pick out exactly where there might be it, but more than likely it is off to the just to the northeast of Kenyon, where there is the possibility of some stronger rotation, also near Wanamingo. So there could be in spots, different spots within this where there is some rotation. Right now you are okay in Zumbrota, but this storm is moving your direction. So we are at 540 right now. The storm is moving your way. It has shown signs of rotation. Heads up in Zumbrota, you do need to be taking shelter from that storm. Back to the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for almost all of Dodge County. That is until 5:45. A tornado could develop along the leading edge of this squall line. Otherwise, it is 60-mile-per-hour winds. We do not have any warnings in place for the Rochester area right now, but as you saw, even though these are relatively small, some of these smaller storms have had the history of producing a tornado. We also have a significant tornado likely on the ground, the biggest of the day, happening in Houston County in the Sheldon area, and that has been a very intense storm coming out of the eastern side of Fillmore County. All of these storms right now moving west to east. Many of them have been at times rotating, interacting with a front at the surface, and it has gone a little bit off the charts for some locations, especially far southeastern Minnesota, and as you saw earlier in Freeborn County. Now the warnings that we have in effect right now, and I'm going to zip back to that larger view. Sorry, and Bob, could you please repeat that for me? What do we have that we're going to take a look at? Okay, we have tornado footage from southeast of Heartland earlier. My goodness. So no joke, at that time, we had about 3 or 4 cells over Freeborn County, and they were not that big, but look at what they were capable of producing. That is outrageous. Of course, something like that would be causing the damage. We will not know, and you cannot tell how big a tornado is or what its rating is by looking at something like that, but the National Weather Service will be out to survey, I'm sure, especially after getting video like that, to see what the strength of that tornado was. That area where we saw the barn damaged, anywhere where there's some crops damaged, any other buildings that were damaged, we'll be able to get a decent gauge as to what strength that tornado was. So a day like today, all of these storms have certainly been outperforming. Now I want to go back to the warning that we do have in effect right now for Dodge County. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. This has the potential of winds up to around 60 miles per hour, but it's bowing a little bit. And whenever I see that, that's indicating that in this portion of the storm right here, a little bit of a cold pool. So the air is coming up right here, and then it's falling back where the rain is falling. But then some of that rain, and now it's very saturated, there can be a little bit of evaporation, and there's some colder air. And that's more dense, and that moves very quickly down to the ground level, and then that accelerates the wind down to the ground level. And now that we're starting to see a little bit of clearing right there, I'm a little concerned about that, where there may be some winds that are starting to crash down to the surface. Right there, we call that a bow echo. So a bow echo within this portion of the storm. We might see that happen a little bit down to the southwest as well near Blooming Prairie. Just a heads up, you're not under a warning in Blooming Prairie right now, but that strong thunderstorm is coming your direction, and we still have a tornado warning in effect for about the next 3 minutes in Goodhue County. Uncertain if we're going to see this extended. It depends a lot on what's been happening in the last 5 to 10 minutes and what the history with that one in particular is. But this one that is now approaching Casson, heads up in Casson, the winds are coming your way, and to pretty much all of Highway 57 within about the next 5 minutes, if not even less than that. The scan might be a little bit old on the radar picture right now, but as we continue to get more data, we'll get that refreshed. As that comes in from the National Weather Service, it arrives as soon as that scan goes through. That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 6:15 for Dodge County, but that storm will be moving into the Rochester area, and we still have a very clear hook echo on this storm in the Houston County area. So there is a mess of activity that is going on all across the area right now. And as I mentioned before, tornadoes, big deal, yes. Severe thunderstorms producing damaging winds, of course. Now on top of that, every single one of these thunderstorms is producing very heavy rainfall. And the amounts are going to be adding up very quickly. And this is not going to be everything. And on top of that, watch this line right here, from near Mason City all the way up into Houston County. Storm 1, storms 3, 4, and 5, more development down to the southwest. All of this is moving right along one area right there. That is exactly what training is. So these storms continue to train, named after literally a train on the tracks, over one area. That is repeated heavy rains over one singular area. This is going to be a concern for flooding. If you live in flood-prone areas, low-lying areas, if you live in an area that has experienced flooding previously, you want to make sure you have a plan right now to seek higher ground, be paying very close attention to river levels, to what's happening outside, and if you need to get to higher ground, please do so. There is a lot of rain that continues to fall with these storms. We do have a flood watch that is in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that extended a little bit later, because there is going to be another round of thunderstorms, some of those strong to severe, again tomorrow. So there will be more activity developing and moving through the area tomorrow. Strong thunderstorms also approaching this area. We're looking at more activity north of Fort Dodge. These have also been training. There is a flash flood warning down there just south of Hancock County, and storms are now moving into Hancock. Additional storms. I know you've had storms already, but Hancock into Cerro Gordo County. They will continue to move off to the northeast, and there's a pretty extensive line to them. Now, what I'm seeing here in recent trends showing a little bit of good news. We have seen a lot of activity over by Mankato, over by Le Sueur, Blue Earth counties. Now a lot of this moving off to the east. This line is starting to pick up steam. We want storms to be moving faster than slower to get that rain out of here, as it is going to be coming down very heavily. And now back behind it to the west, a little bit of a lull in the activity. And that is exactly what we are going to need going into this evening. Taking a look at a big picture, and let's see if we can send it back to Maisie in a little bit so I can reset, get the latest on warnings. But looking west of this line, a bit less activity. But look at how far down this extends. We've got a line of storms all the way down into parts of central to eastern Nebraska, plain old rain into parts of northern Wisconsin. This line of severe storms moving through southeast Minnesota right now. A new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for Wright and Franklin counties, just outside of our viewing area, but just south of you. So if you're watching in Hancock County and Cerro Gordo County, new severe thunderstorm warning issued just down to your south. Let's go back to Maisie, if we can, and then I'm going to reset so we can get back and review this all over again as we still have warnings in effect. Maisie?
All right, thank you, Randy. He's going to get back and set up. Right now, though, you're going to take a video, or you're going to take a look, actually. Take a look at that. Look at that tail coming down. This is west of Alden, and this was just sent into our newsroom about 6 minutes ago or so. And you can really see that tail coming down. It doesn't look to be like it is actually touching the ground, but we do really appreciate videos like that. It's keeping Randy very informed. It's keeping me informed, even though I don't know exactly what we're looking at all times, but we do really appreciate it. And I know that we have some more video to look at from Heartland. I know we've been showing you guys a lot about Heartland, but before we do that, this is Alden now, and you can see those little tails coming down in that area too. So let's go back to Heartland, though. I feel like we've gotten a real full picture of exactly what happened there. We know a very powerful tornado did rip through that area about 45 minutes to an hour ago or so. But let's take a look at that. We know that it did bring an entire barn to the ground. We could see it ripping things up from the ground. Obviously very strong. I mean, we really thank you guys for being our weather spotters on the ground there. We only have so many people to get to all of these different places. And like Randy has said, it's unbelievable when you can see these storm lines. He says training all the way down through Nebraska. So we're definitely just one of many places that are being hit tonight. But for those of you that are just joining us, as Randy has mentioned a few times, a tornado warning that is active right now in Houston County until 6 o'clock. Unclear if that's been extended at this moment in time, but that does look to be a very strong, very dangerous tornado. So if you have any cell service, or you're able to check in on anybody that lives on that edge of Fillmore County or on more so in Houston County, be sure to check on them and make sure that they're okay, that they are sheltering. We also have a tornado warning that's happening in Goodhue County around the Zumbrota area. I believe it's mainly focusing on the Kenyon and Wanamingo area. And as far as us and where we are and where we're at with tracking this for you guys, we did just check in with Chandler Jackson in Mower County. It seems to have been moved out of that area at this time. Rochester has gotten a lot of rain, but not a lot of serious activity so far. But Rochester city officials, they're being very proactive to ensure that these flood zones don't fill up with water and affect all these drivers that are trying to get to and from their destination. So we do have Brandon there if we want to take him live again. I don't know if we have him at the moment, but he is where that road is about to be shut down here in a little more than an hour. So let's take Brandon again. Brandon, has anything changed? Soaked? Anything else?
Not entirely, Maisie. It stopped raining. There was a little bit more wind, but I'm going to show you kind of a look straight ahead. As you can kind of see, the storm seems to be moving pretty fast with the clouds, and I know it's a little tough to see, but it's definitely dark. It seems to be moving pretty fast. That's, again, I'm kind of near Broadway, where Broadway is getting set to be shut down. So there's quite a little movement, cloud movement. However, it stopped raining for the time being. So that's currently where I'm at, or where we're at here in Rochester, as it stopped raining. Maisie, back to you.
All right, thank you, Brandon. And yeah, again, we're trying to get everywhere that we can get for you all tonight to make sure that everyone is staying safe. We certainly are not rooting for any of these storms. We do not want to see any storm damage, but we want to keep everybody as prepared and in the loop and as educated as we possibly can. So for our weather spotters out there, if you can continue keeping us updated with things that we can't see on the forecast. I know that we do have a reporter that is heading to Houston County now. He's going to do that as safely as he can. To make sure that we're up to date with how dangerous that tornado is. As Randy mentioned, that one seems to be very powerful, very massive, and we just want to make sure that everybody is informed. I'm going to send it back to Randy if you are ready.
All right, yeah, absolutely. We're going to get the very latest on the warnings across the area. Want to make sure that you're updated on all the fresh information. Good news is that tornado warning has been let to expire in Goodhue County, that one that was around Kenyon and Wanamingo going towards Zumbrota. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning and a very potent storm that is in Dodge County. Look at that bow echo right there and that little bit of clearing currently right behind the leading edge. So Cass and Manorville, right now, you have the potential of some strong damaging winds come in. This is going to be enough to knock down some trees, to knock down tree branches at the very least. So wind speeds up to around 60 miles per hour. And these kind of storms can and often do produce tornadoes. So that is also something we're looking at. Right on the northern side, you see that little bit of a curl. There's a northern bookend on the side of that squall line. So on that bookend, you get some rotation in there. It's not necessarily a tornado concern as it is going to be a damaging wind concern. That severe thunderstorm warning has now been scaled back just a little bit. It does not currently include Olmsted County. We have been getting, by the way, that's the old warning that is no longer in effect, but looking at that warning from this bow, they have yet to add Olmsted County to it. I don't know if we've actually verified from stations or spotters right now that it has reached severe criteria, but it is something I'm concerned about because we do continue to see that line progressing into Olmsted County. That might be the strongest storm that we've seen yet today, making its way into Olmsted County. We do still have this very intense storm with a tornado potentially not too far, just to the north of the Caledonia area. So that's in Houston County. It is showing a debris signature. You can see that warning right there. And storms just persisting. We were talking about that training, those storms now that are still affecting Fillmore County, the additional development back to the west. One of the nicest things I've seen here in the last, about 3 hours is the fact that this line is actually starting to gain some steam. Now, the downside to that is it's going to be a little bit stronger, potentially, with some of the gustier winds behind it, but it is making some movement, finally making some motion out of here. So we want to see that start to come to an end and what has been a rowdy afternoon with tornadoes confirmed in Freeborn County. We've seen the video. around Heartland, those tornadoes that we were on the air with right away when we got those warnings just this afternoon around Alden, Heartland, the storms moved to Ellendale near Blooming Prairie, starting to show a little bit more linear characteristics to them, which means there could still be some damaging winds, but that starts to eat into that possibility of hail. It starts to eat into the possibility of tornadoes. But what it won't do is put an end to the possibility of flooding. And we still have very heavy rain with these thunderstorms, a flood watch that's in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. This is also highlighting all the warnings that we have in effect. And across the viewing area, I'm not leaving you out in Mason City. You just know there are no warnings right now in Cerro Gordo County or Hancock County. There are just down to your south. There's the potential of those stronger storms making their way into Hancock and Cerro Gordo County. We also have that severe thunderstorm warning right now in Dodge County, and that is still in effect. And we have Alex. Let's go to Alex in Dodge County. Let's get a report. Do we need to hold off a little bit? Is Alex ready? I'll
Yeah,
keep
Randy.
Oh, hey, Alex. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Randy, it's obviously still pretty wet out here. Some little drizzling when I was driving over. It wasn't too bad, nothing to write home about. But I have seen some lightning bolts and heard bolts of thunder going on. So if you're inside and you can stay inside, I would highly recommend that. I would also highly recommend staying off the roads. Like I said, it's not really anything you really want to write home about. It's doable, so if you have to go on the roads, you can certainly do so. But if you can avoid being on the road, I would do so. That's really the story out in Dodge County. So we'll continue to track it and see what's going on. But right now, it's just a little bit of rain. Nothing really to be too concerned about. Randy?
Alex, thank you so much. And be safe out there. Thanks for venturing out to get an eyeball on things. I want to also point out that line that's coming out of Dodge County. We're going to eventually start to see the leading edge a little bit better, and it is going to look pretty ragged once it does get here. So that storm that has been severe in Dodge County is going to continue to progress off to the east. We are starting to see the makings on the front edge of the line. We should see a shelf cloud fairly soon. So this is one of the more ominous storms we've seen, at least as far as how it looks. Now, this is not anything compared to the tornadoes that have already touched down, that we saw mainly around parts of Freeborn County, Southern Steele, and what's on the ground in Houston County, or at least was just a little bit ago. But this is going to continue to march our direction. Finally, we've got at least our fake eyeball on it from downtown Rochester looking off to the west. Severe thunderstorm warning was with that storm in Dodge County, and a tornado watch is in effect for all of us until 10 p.m. tonight. And the very latest is that severe thunderstorm warning continues until 6:15 from this storm in Dodge County, right now around Cass and Manorville, and just into the northeast corner of Dodge County. Not too far, just south of Pine Island. This could be producing some strong, damaging winds. The leading edge of this storm moving into the western side of Olmsted County right now, and there could be some hail. If there's going to be some hail, I would expect to see that down around the Hayfield area. Could even be a little bit of visible rotation in that portion of the storm in the Hayfield area. That storm up in Goodhue County has weakened quite a bit, but we now have not seen an extension of this severe thunderstorm warning into Olmsted County at this time. Now that there have been so many wonderful storm spotters that have been out there in Dodge County, keeping an eye on this very closely, getting wind measurements, seeing if there's been any damage, that helps a lot to get some ground truth as to what's going on and whether or not that warning needs to be issued a little bit farther downstream. But just a heads up, even without a warning, this is more than likely going to be strong enough to at least do some tree limb damage. Hopefully nothing more than that, but give you a little bit of something to have to clean up. Now, while that's happening, we've also had this cell developing right down near the Rochester Airport, just to the north of the Stewartville area, while we also have that tornado warning that's in effect into parts of Houston County. So we're keeping a very close eye on this storm as it continues to move to the east into the Rochester area. And I'm going to back up just a little bit more, and we're going to get back to that tower cam view to take a look at what's happening right now as seen from the west of Rochester. As a reminder, not trying to be too repetitive, but in case you're just tuning in, tornado watch until 10 p.m. this evening. Severe thunderstorms have popped up, not all of these severe, but we also have a flood watch until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Every single one of these, whether severe or not, has been producing very heavy rainfall. And we're already starting to see a line develop right now, basically right along I-90 from Albert Lee to Austin. That one is going to continue to produce heavy rain here for us. And we also have that severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Dodge County until 6:15. But now we are seeing that line come in. There's the shelf cloud right now. Occasionally you're going to be able to see some flashes of lightning, but I want to step out of the way here for just a second too, so you can get a view of that storm as it continues to make its way into the Rochester area. There will be heavy rain. There will be lightning. It's frequent. There might be some damaging winds, and that's going to keep on going for a little bit. We're going to, by the way, go back to Maisie and Robin in just a little while so that I can reset things. I think we're going to need just a little bit longer before we do that, though. Am I right? Yeah. Nods? Okay. It's going to be just a moment yet. But this is the line that's making its way into the Rochester area, and so far, knocking on wood, we have not seen an extension to that severe thunderstorm warning farther off to the east. There is that severe thunderstorm warning in Dodge County until 6:15. Maybe, and my hope is that this is starting to run out its downdraft, so that's pushing the leading edge out a little bit farther, and that relieves a little bit of that energy. So it steals, essentially, a bit of that as that pushes forward and limits those wind speeds just a little bit. But there is still a strong storm in Goodhue County. We have a strong storm moving into the Rochester area, a severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge County, although the worst of it has moved off to your east right now. A thunderstorm that's popped up just to the north of Stewartville, moving into the Marion area. Also that storm that is in Houston County that's going to be moving into Wisconsin in fairly short order, but a very dangerous storm there. Persistent heavy rains. A lot of that lately has been around Fillmore County. That is becoming a higher level concern of mine, as we have seen a whole lot of rain in Fillmore County, Mower County, back to Freeborn County, where heavy rain is falling right now, and then unfortunately in a west to east line. So my hope is that this starts to fall apart a little bit, as that line currently is going to be producing some very heavy rain in a pretty narrow corridor. Now notice that's right along I-90, and that's going to be rain that continues to contribute to our flooding concerns. And there is a flood watch. So we have alert day today and alert day tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to start to shift toward watching and keeping a very close eye on where it rains, because the rain around Hayfield is going to take the Cedar River on a rise into the Austin area. That's going to cause the Cedar River to rise into Charles City. The rainfall that comes down into parts of Freeborn County is going to cause the river to rise in Mason City on the Winnebago. So we're watching all of these watersheds and the interconnections as well. We're watching these rivers. So while these are flowing down to the south, these rivers are feeding into the Mississippi River. So the rain that's going to be falling around Olmsted County is going to be heading along the Whitewater watershed, the Zumbro River watershed, then there's the Root River watershed, all of that going toward the Mississippi River. So keeping a close eye on those locations and to where those higher water levels are going to go. Bigger picture, showing everything in motion. We might start to see a little bit of lull in activity. Some weakening would be good, as these storms are still producing very heavy rain, and we have more development now that's making its way into Hancock County and Cerro Gordo County. Very heavy rains to go with that as well, and a flash flood warning just down to the south that has now moved into Wright County and stretching back a little bit farther to the west. All right, that is a pretty solid summary for this moment. Robin and Maisie, we'll throw it to you, please.
All right, thank you, Randy. Well, we are going to start our 6 o'clock newscast now. It's about 6:02, and if you've been with us for a long time, you know that we've been in back-to-back coverage for quite some time as those storms have stretched from west to east. And we know that some of the storms are not necessarily in your coverage area, but somebody watching us is depending on us to get that weather forecast.
Right,
So.
and this started off as just heavy rains, as we all know, and then the severe weather set in. And Randy has been, as we mentioned, just wall-to-wall coverage, because these storms are just popping up everywhere and randomly. So be sure to keep it here. We're going to keep moving forward with the newscast, but if we have anything to report by way of severe weather, we certainly will be breaking in with Randy and with you. And something else to look out for is, I know on North Broadway between 14th Street and Elton Hill